Coming up next on Mental Health Matters with Marty and House Calls with Dr. Allen. Listen, we got a discussion on CBD and THC. Is it just a high? Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Hey, good evening and welcome again to another edition of the Mental Health Matters with Marty show, along with House Calls with Dr. Allen. Listen, we are in the house, and my name is Martina Sellers, and I am your mental health hygienist coming to you live and always in living color from the beautiful state of Southern California. Listen, y'all, where the sun is always shining. Yeah, ooh-wee is it. Come on in the room. Listen, invite some people in the room because we are about to have the show of a lifetime. The debate. Why can I take THC? Can I take CBD? Can I take ABC and XYZ? We're going to talk about it all today and what is recommended, but from none other than the professionals themselves. Listen, invite everyone in the room. Let me know you are live and that you're listening, and invite some people in there. Put the names in the comment section because it's about to be on fire and lit up in here. Now, as I always say with each show about the Mental Health Matters with Marty and House Calls with Dr. Allen, listen, this show is intended for it to be an educational tool, a psychoeducational and a medical educational tool. It is not capital N, capital O, capital T. It is not a substitution for you seeing your therapist. It's not a substitution for you seeing your psychiatrist. It is not a substitution for you seeing your medical doctor. And if you are experiencing any type of medical or psychiatric emergency, please go to the nearest urgent care and hospital room ASAP. But listen, if you're doing all right, stay tuned. We having fun. Who's out there with us tonight? Who's out there with us? Let's go. Let's see. Daryl, let's see. Pastor Cherie, how are you? Listen, I am still on a spiritual high from our last session. Listen, I'm walking in truth, y'all. Yes, let us know. Yes. All right, Arkansas, by the way of Texas, get some people in the room, in the house, in here. Yes, Carlinda, what's going on, darling? You was with me last night. You're back with me tonight. We got some great discussion going on. Listen, get in the room, invite some people in. But this Wednesday show, listen, we are so excited, y'all. Portia, hello, darling. How are you? Can't wait till you come out here to Southern California because we're about to have it on and popping with the Scott family. Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Pastor Cherie. We are so excited. But I'm letting y'all know in advance. I'm going to tell y'all a little secret. Come in close. I'm about to tell y'all a secret. Listen, we're about to change the format of this show. And you think that it was on fire before. It's about to be real on and popping. Listen, you're not even gonna know what's hit you. You think you're gonna be watching CNN, Hulu, Netflix, and everything else because we have made this amazing investment. I can't tell y'all. My executive producer in the back telling me to shut up, so I'm gonna just keep it going. Yes. Let's talk about this CBD. I hear you, Miss Portia Scott. I hear you. Listen, I am so glad on this show I am never alone. And I'm so glad that she is my sister from another mister. We've been knowing each other since we were freshmen at UC Berkeley. Guess, go Bears. The only one and the best school there is. The rest of y'all may have paid too much, but we are so glad that we're here right now. So I'm so glad to have none other than my sister from another mister, my old college roommate, my road dog, what I could just call anytime. She's always there. None other than Dr. Gwen Allen.
Hey, Marty.
Hey, Dr. Allen, how are you?
I am good. Great to be here. You know, last week all of us had basically emergencies. We were
Right,
babies
right.
popping out, people getting their COVID on, and so now the babies are coming out and busting at the seams. And so now we're
Listen,
back on track, and hopefully we can educate some folks again.
are these all the babies from the quarantine when folks was
This is
locked
baby
in?
quarantine, locked in, locked down. But I'm happy. We got the little ching ching going, Papa baby, y'all ching ching. I'm messing with you on that. So, but
Exactly.
it's kind of interfering with our lives and our little thing here. But we're happy. I've got everybody back.
Yeah,
Giselle is back. Jamie's still working. We're trying to bring on another
yeah.
guest person today, Rita, who's also expert in CBD, and she's a
Right.
obstetrician gynecologist as well. So I'm looking forward to the discussion. We have pros
Yes.
and cons going on. Should marijuana be legal? But now it's legal. What are we going to do with it?
Right, right,
People now just saying, I'm going to smoke marijuana because I can.
right,
But is
right.
that a good thing on your body? People don't want to take the COVID shot. What about the long-term effects of having this smoking marijuana every day? Nobody ever
Ooh,
thought about that.
right, right.
You
Come
say,
on, Dr.
this
Allen.
is for
Yes.
my heart. This is for my lungs. This is
Glaucoma.
right, glaucoma, right? I'm gonna get high. Let's get high. I'm gonna feel a little bit better, and then that's what we want to talk about too. That's a temporary effect. So that's
Right.
not a long-term thing, and we take little things with a grain of salt. That's like we talked about earlier. When people want to say, "Oh, I want to eat a brownie. I want to do this,"
Mm-hmm.
but if you're 110 pounds versus somebody who's 300, that 300-pounder can probably eat 4 or 5 brownies. You can probably take a half of one and you still high.
Right.
So you need to understand that the concentration of the THC that's in these brownies and things of that nature sometimes can be very harmful and a hallucinogenic component. And if you on that
Mm.
edge already and about to go tilt to crazy, it can tip you over. And that's what people don't really understand. Just because they legalize it doesn't necessarily mean that you do it in large proportions. With
Right.
everything, you take your time and do anything in small increments.
That's right. That's right. And
So
I love it. I'm gonna say this. That what I love about this show here. We have live practicing doctors that are on the show, and at any time they can get a call. In fact, Dr. Jamie Horn, she's trying to pop in and out from delivering babies and all that. Why we got it? Why don't let's bring on Dr. McKinney right now, so we can just have her. And since it's going to be the three of us for right now, Dr. McKinney, how are you, darling?
Hi, how are you? How are you?
Doing. Listen, the fan club is going crazy right now because you are on here and everything. Listen, you're being nicknamed the straight shooter. Dr. Allen.
Well,
Dr. Allen has been the professional one that keeps her posture and poise. But they're like, where's that straight shooter, Dr. McKinney at? Yes.
at least I'm consistent, right?
That's
consistent.
right. How are they treating you down there in Lake Charles?
We're doing really well. We're still trying to recover from the many, difficulties we've had down here, but we're a resilient group of people. So we're going to overcome all that has, happened to us. So, yeah.
That's my mama. Miss you guys.
Hi, how are you?
See, I told you she could not wait. She was all right. You're having a show with the doctors tonight. You're having a show with the yes, mama. I'm having a show with the doctors tonight. Okay, tell Gwen I said hi. I said I will let Dr. Allen know. Since she's on a first name basis with you, Dr. Allen.
She knew me before I was Dr. Allen. She knows that. She knows everything about me. Marty forget to tell everybody we were roommates.
Yes,
he did this time. He said it this time.
Oh, he said
yes, I did.
Yes,
I did. Listen, Dr. Allen was the best roommate ever. Even when she wasn't there, she sent her half of the rent. I was like, "Thank you, baby. I appreciate it."
We're gonna keep quiet while she wasn't there, okay?
But we ain't gonna tell nobody we didn't have no telephone for like almost 3 years. But it's okay.
Listen, if you came to our apartment, either we was home or we wasn't.
Exactly. And that was for the years of the cell phone, but it's all good.
That was even before pagers. Don't tell no one.
Right? Don't tell them. I don't know who you went to school with.
I'm
not that old. I'm not that old.
Tuck that in. Okay. She's 35 again.
Yes. So let's have this discussion, because I know that even in my practice, and I know definitely with you guys, the whole rage right now is CBD, THC, marijuana, and the discussion that I even hear, well, there's less harmful and has less side effects than the psychotropics. It has less side effects than the pharmaceuticals that you all are forcing us. Yeah, I'm not forcing you to do anything, but about that. Go ahead, Dr. McKinney.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Everything in life has a consequence. Just determine
Yes.
which consequence is something that you're willing to deal with or is acceptable for you, how your body tolerates it. I think there's a place for everything, and
Right.
everything natural is not good. You got natural mushrooms that will send you into a psychosis, and you have natural other medicines that are not great for you, just like you have the pharmaceutical industry medications that will not be good for you. But people talk about side effects, but we take medicines every day that have significant side effects, and we think nothing of it. And people are more into it now, worrying about side effects because they feel like they can do their Dr. Google search and do a research, which is not truly a research. They'll go and get an answer that pops up to the top, not understanding that that could be a skewed search that you have, and it's based on advertising and not actual fact. But we take medicines all the day that cause stomach irritation, GI bleeds, headaches, hepatotoxicity. And, one of the most common medicines we take that cause all of that and much more is acetaminophen or Tylenol. We don't think about that. So while we're talking about CBD or THC, CBD has its place and THC does too. Some of my patients who have some of the most horrible hyperemesis or pain that I cannot control or cannot take narcotics, they get some benefit from CBD and THC. At some points, I would rather people smoke the marijuana in some instances than cigarettes because, or use CBD oils than cigarettes. There's proven, documented fact of what nicotine will do to your body: vasoconstriction, hypoxia, placental insufficiency. The babies will become growth restricted. A plethora of data on that. And then, we worry about marijuana. It's still illegal in some states. So we just have to worry about and monitor what each person tolerates with that. So it's a give and take, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Dr. Anna, can you just explain something even more about the difference? Because I think there's still a lot of ignorance about there between CBD versus THC.
Sorry, I had to, clear my throat on that. I mean, it was really interesting preparing for this show because I too had to sit there and say, what is this and what people are smoking? What gives you the hallucinogenic effect is the THC. That's the actual marijuana itself.
Okay.
So when people come around and say, oh, okay, I have THC, but you also have to understand that I have my little notes here, CBD as versus hemp. So you see things that have hemp product. Hemp actually comes from the actual seed itself, where the CBD is coming from the stalk. And so at that point, you're not supposed to have any type of THC in it. So basically, it's different parts of the marijuana plant that people have been using. So the leaves actually has the highest concentration of THC. And then when you get down to the stalk and things of that nature, that's when they use it for industrial purposes and the fibers, and that you can use that in your lotions. And then when you get to the seeds, that's when you use the hemp oil. The hemp oil has nothing in it at all, no CBD in it at all, or no THC. The CPD, I'm saying CPD, am I right? Like
CBD.
Here I go. I'm thinking about chronic pulmonary disease. Chronic pulmonary disease. I'm talking about like CPOD. Sorry, y'all.
These doctors.
But
she been saying CBD for CPD.
No, CPD, because I'm thinking about COPD, but it's not. It's CBD.
Yes,
it's BD, and basically that has, in order for it to be legalized in California, you have to have less than 0.3% of THC. Then you can sell that particular product over the counter. And so most people, so you have to think about, you got THC, then I'm gonna get it right, you got CBD, and then you got hemp oil. Hemp oil has nothing. CBD has a little bit of THC, and then THC is what causes the hallucinatory effect, and then that's when you're smoking the marijuana. And so our question to most people when we come around, we say, hey, should marijuana be used for medicinal purposes? And like you talked about in your specialty, Marty, now let's talk about this. You smoking something and you're getting high, right? Now you're seeing things. You're seeing pink elephant, blue dogs, and all this other kind of stuff. How is that a great product? You know, people can say, oh, okay, marijuana makes me feel good. It relieves my anxiety, but it also has a hallucinogenic component to it. It's psychotropic. And so we have to say, when people say, oh, this medicine is something that I can take to make me feel better, but who are you feeling better to? Because you're really high. You know, and that's what people don't really understand. You are getting high and you're sitting there and saying, I am getting high and I'm trying to make myself feel better. But is that something that you really, really want to do? Walk around with bloodshot eyes and saying that I can eat better. Dr. Horn was going to be on today to talk about how our pregnant women, THC has not been approved in pregnancy at all. And pregnant women say, oh, I have hyperemesis. I'm going to smoke weed and I'm going to feel better, right? But we don't know the long-term sequelae, what's going to happen to those people who are smoking weed, babies. We don't know anything about what's going to happen to that mom in pregnancy. You also you can catch a case because medicine has not caught up with the government in legalizing marijuana. When we were all growing up or in school, marijuana is the gateway drug to higher things. So people,
hold on. That was that was a lie, right? That was a way to get people ribbed up about it. That wasn't a gateway drug, but that's the lie they told you. So we have to go back and look at the history of THC. That was a lie. That was a propaganda. So I just wanted to stop you and say it's a gateway drug.
So, but most of the time, how will we go? Like when your people come into your office and they're saying, I'm smoking weed. The next thing, what is your drug of choice? So are we still saying that it's okay to smoke weed while you're pregnant?
No, that's only because our college does not approve it. Our college there have been no long-term studies that we know of on pregnant women with the sequelae of use of long-term marijuana. Well, you have anecdotal studies of people that use certain medications like antidepressants, but there are no actual studies that show what marijuana effects are, or THC. But we're getting more data about CBD as we keep going because people are using it, and you don't have the reason to say that the THC product was the cause. And I think Rita will be much better apt to talk about this in more detail. But as of now, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology does not recognize any safe level of marijuana use in pregnancy. But it says the same thing about cigarettes, and they keep smoking.
Right. But there's also things about you have intrauterine growth restriction with the use of tobacco smoking because it causes vasoconstriction of the placenta. So you have known chronic not substance abuse, tobacco use.
Tobacco.
Have small babies. But however, when we look at the studies, and I hope Rita does come on today, that when we talk about,
she's in the waiting room.
We talk about CBD. When we talk about CBD, that does not have the THC in it. So we cannot say, but people are not smoking CBD. They're smoking marijuana. So there are some beneficial effects to CBD, in which Rita will talk about, but we're talking about straight up hitting a joint saying that it's going to relieve my anxiety. It's going to relieve my stress. It's going to cause me to feel better about my life. But when you talk about, hey, Crystal, when you talk about smoking weed, smoking marijuana, I'm going to be professional, but I'm also going to talk about things, you hitting the joint.
Right.
People don't realize there's ammonias and there's carcinogens in there, carcinogenics in that weed, just like if you were smoking a cigarette. So when you come around, you say, so you're going to end up with lung problems later on down the line, may not emphysema, such as very toxic as, when you were smoking a cigarette, but however, you will get lung problems from smoking marijuana. And that's what people don't understand. You can't think that just because I'm smoking marijuana every day that it's not going to have any problems with my lungs. And that's not true.
But can we even talk about some of the obvious things that is not being discussed? We cannot, and this is where I go. We have to face the problems and the comorbidities, things that we're dealing with. If we have anxiety, if we have depression, let's deal with some of the root of the problems of these things, because the only thing we're doing using marijuana, CBD, we're masking and temporarily masking some of the bigger and larger issues that really is at stake. I cannot smoke my way away to get out of depression, because I still need to deal with it and deal with whatever the root cause of that issue might be. But too often in our communities, we have learned so much to mask so much of our anxiety, to mask so much of our depression, to mask and cover up our PTSD, and not recognize that when we're going through any type of psychiatric, or even refuse to go to the doctors so that we can get help and get on weight control or whatever that is, and eat a healthy diet so that we can and look at some of the things. Like, I know blood pressure runs in my family, so I know I cannot eat all these fried foods. I can't do all these things. But when it happens, we want to quickly run to something else to make a quick fix over something that has been developing over many years.
Right. And see,
that's true.
Go ahead, Giselle.
That's true. But like when we have patients for my practice, when I have patients who are pregnant that say they have a difficult time, there's a prescription form called Marinol that we give them to increase their appetite. It's THC. So we are I think sometimes in medicine we cherry pick some issues, and then we use propaganda to promote a different action. I don't doubt for a second that we're gonna have in the next.
Oh, we lost her. Okay,
here we go. We got a Jamie on board, but I'll take over that. Let me tell you another thing that I have, and what we were talking about, this feel good, this feel high concept. One of the things that people fail to realize, that THC releases dopamine from the brain. Dopamine is your feel good type of thing that you see that people, when people smoke marijuana, dopamine is released. And when dopamine is released, then that's when you start feeling good. You get a pleasant high.
Right.
But yet and still, you got to find out that there is what we call 30% of the people will have a reverse effect of all that. They get irritability, they get insomnia, and then they get a loss of appetite. So then you get those people that walk around looking like zombies. So just because you're smoking marijuana, it's not going to I know some people will get mad at me by saying this today, and I'm not any type of a pharmaceutical.
Right.
Not. But if I give you 650 milligrams of Tylenol, I know that I'm giving you 650 milligrams of Tylenol. Now, if you're telling me I am taking marijuana, I'm using medicinal marijuana to control my chronic pelvic pain. Now, do the doctors say go smoke 4 joints?
Right.
I don't understand this. So that's the pros and cons of having medicinal marijuana versus, just marijuana on the street. So, or versus allopathic medicine, because we cannot really put a quantity on what is going to make you feel better by yourself. So sometimes I can feel that people make it an excuse. Oh, I feel marijuana because, it's going to cure my nervousness. So, but I can quantify that allopathic drug. I cannot quantify that joint. And that's where it comes a point. So then you see people smoking weed every day, and you just smoking weed every day to say that. I think it's just pacifying. It's giving people a high. And then how can you hold a job if the side effects of this medication is, munchies, tiredness, bloodshot red eyes, and all that kind of stuff? How can you function taking marijuana? I don't understand.
Right. And I think those are some of the conversations we have to have. And even with my patients, I'll go, so what's the purpose? Let's talk about, because we can't tell them to or not to, but I say, let's talk through the purpose. Let's make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Are we doing it simply because you want to remain high, and that you use as an excuse for what you want to and what you cannot do? And that's the conversation I try to have with them. What's the ultimate purpose of this? Now, if you just want to run around and be high all the time, that's fine. I can't do anything about that as well. Dr. McKinney, we're having a little trouble with you today. That's what we love. We have a live show, y'all. It's live. It's live.
It's live. Let's talk about something else while we're having problems with, my other colleagues. One of the things that people don't understand, you smoke weed, right? You smoking weed. And now, cannabis, THC. Let me be professional about that. Right. And then what you need to understand that now it increases your heart rate.
Yes.
Right. So it increases your heart rate. Once it increases your heart rate, there's an extra demand on your heart, and you need more oxygen. So if you're a person who has cardiac disease, smoking marijuana for your arthritis is not a good thing, Because at the end of the day, it causes the blood vessels to expand. Why do you think you can get bloodshot eyes? Because now it's dilating your blood vessels. So this can also play major parts on other parts of your body, what people really don't understand. So you got to understand, what are you taking this medication for? Glaucoma, a temporary relief of your glaucoma. That pressure will be decreased only for a few hours. So how much medical marijuana do I need to smoke? We don't know. Then people, I put CBD on everything. Now, if those who are educated about the medication, THC is the hallucinogenic component. THC is the one that has more or less the medicinal component. There are new studies with CBD, and we don't really know what causes. We don't know what concentration is going to be there for your skin, for, some people even want to give it to their dogs, but we really don't know. It's not enough studies out there. And I wish we can get Rita on board, but we have
she's in the waiting room. So we got it. So we're excited. Yes, we are so excited to have Dr. Rita in the house, our resident expert on this. Dr. Rita, how are you?
Oh my gosh, I need my CBD because right now I'm stressed out. To my 30-year-old son, I'm like, Jacob, where's my Chrome? He's like, Mom, you have a new laptop. You didn't download it yet. So I'm thinking I had it. So my apologies, guys.
Listen, we are so glad you are here. Welcome to the Mental Health Matters with Marty Show. Dr. Rita, we are so glad you're here and our resident expert on this. Now, as we always say, this show is for educational purposes only. Please consult with your own physician for your needs. But Dr. Rita, introduce yourself and what you do. And we are so glad that you are here tonight. So welcome.
Thank you so much. And to my buddy, Giselle, I've not seen you since residency, probably.
Wow.
A little bit. It was a little bit
long, but thank you for having me. I'm just really excited to share this information. I'm an obstetrician gynecologist of over 30 years now. I am in the inner city of Chicago. I'm at the hospital right now. And 4 years ago, I was introduced to CBD. I actually didn't know what CBD was. In fact, the person that introduced me to CBD, I thought, Giselle, they were trying to sell me a lab. So I thought she was trying to say CBC, like a complete blood count. And I'm like, what?
My CBD.
Yeah. I did my due diligence by really researching and never, ever knew that there was a part of the cannabis plant that is from hemp species that gives you the health without the high. And I think when I realized that there were two sides of the plant, I got really excited because, Giselle knows that our patients come to us and want to take everything, right? They want to take cohosh, they want to take all sorts of things to address their challenges in a holistic, organic, natural way. And I'm all for that, but we do know that even herbs can interact negatively with patients. So we need to be on top of a lot of these natural ways of healing. And so I did research lots and lots of research. And what I found was that the hemp species actually has been used since 2737 BC. In fact, cannabis has been used for centuries. And before the very first issue that they had with cannabis in the 30s, right? When prohibition happened, cannabis had been used for medicinal purposes for centuries. And pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer and Eli Lilly and Park Davis, all of these pharmaceutical companies that we know today use cannabis-based medicine for over 60 years prior to the discovery of acetaminophen and other medications that we know of. So this is truly something that, as healthcare professionals, I think we should all have open arms and really study, because the way cannabis works in our body is not through some magical potion or snake oil sort of way. there's a real science called the endocannabinoid system. The endocannabinoid system was actually discovered in the early 1990s when I was at Wayne State School of Medicine. And this system is deemed the most vital regulatory system in our body. In fact, this system has receptors that are looking for cannabis, that are looking for cannabis-based compounds that we call cannabinoids that help put our body in balance. In fact, one of the top endogenous cannabinoids that our body produces is called anandamide, and that's found in high levels in breast milk. So all of our breastfed moms are giving their babies cannabinoids that are produced in our body that work very much like CBD and THC and all of the other cannabinoids the plant makes. So it's not really the endorphins that people experience when they run or do yoga. It's really anandamide, which is an endogenous cannabinoid. And there's other endogenous cannabinoids like 2-AG. 2-AG is responsible for reducing pain and inflammation in our body. And so these endogenous cannabinoids, along with phytocannabinoids that the plant makes, synergizes on a cellular level to help us sleep at night, to help reduce anxiety, to help put the immune system in balance in our autoimmune patients like fibromyalgia and lupus. And so there's so much data now that you can find with CBD because it's legal. It's legal in all 50 states as long as it's coming from the hemp part of the plant. So you got the marijuana part to get you high. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the CBD that's sourced from the hemp species that does not get you high, doesn't give you the munchies, doesn't give you the paranoia, doesn't give you any of those euphoric effects like marijuana. And these studies are now legal. UC San Diego, they're doing studies on autism, ADHD, multiple sclerosis. They're doing a lot of studies on eating disorders and using CBD. So the data is now being done on humans that prior to 2018, the passing of the Farm Bill was not allowed to do. So you can use studies from Israel and Spain that have been done since the 1960s, or you can look at more current data that is now being done in the United States. So I am an advocate for the cannabis plant. I've seen thousands and thousands of people and patients and family members and even myself get resolution in a lot of conditions that they're looking to solve or to get solution from naturally. And we've got to get past the negative stigma, because the negative stigma is really holding lots of our Black and brown communities. It's holding us back from getting not only the health benefit from this plant, but the wealth benefit from this plant. Because I'm telling you, here in Illinois, there's not one African American that owns a dispensary in Illinois. And so
now, see, that's a whole
Louisiana
other
either.
See, that's the discussion.
That's playing into the whole racial disparity. It's not, first of all, in Louisiana, your third offense for possession of even a microscopic amount of marijuana will give you life. Right. They have commuted not one sentence in this state of brown and Black people who were arrested and sent to life for a microscopic amount that you couldn't even pick off the carpet. They're serving life in prison, and they have not commuted those. They were non-violent offenses, but they're third possession of marijuana. So they have not commuted those sentences. They have not given a single person of color or a woman maybe one woman out of dispensary. It's a tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy.
Can we go ahead, Dr. Allen? Go ahead.
Rita, how are you? I haven't seen you since we were on a cruise.
I know.
Back in the day, right?
Wait a minute. Doctors have vacations?
That was the last time.
That was the last time I saw you, girl. I was probably like 40 pounds lighter.
Do another one of those.
Right, that's cruise. But welcome to the show, and I'm glad to have you. And I was very excited. I talk to Jamie and Giselle about you all the time. I was very excited to know that you dispense I'm gonna get it right, CBD
CBD.
products, CBD products. And I want you to tell people, because I think, like you
Yes.
said, the misconception that we have, marijuana dispensaries, marijuana plants, and people just smoking dope just to say that it's legal versus you having your own oils, your hemp products and things like that to use to help and heal. That's where people get it twisted. They think that I'm gonna smoke marijuana and I'm doing something good. No, you're really just getting high. What you're basically telling the people, look, there's a benefit to this plant, which is a CBD as well as the hemp. And this is what we should be focusing on and not in this arena of health. See, I think they're merging the two things. Health is over here in the hemp and the CBD. You know, getting high is in your marijuana dispensaries. And I mean, you know, getting purple haze and all that kind of stuff. And people,
Right.
can you tell us, you know, what's the best oils to use? How could we
Thank you.
get them and their uses? How do we use hemp oil? How do we use all this stuff? How do you use it in your arena? What are you doing with
And
it?
even the kind of the potency and the differences in that, because I think a lot of us don't understand that now too, as you go to the mall and they go, hey, get this CBD lotion. You're like, here's $20.
Right, right. So the first thing you have to understand is that there is very little medicinal benefit in hemp seed oil. And the reason why I want to start there is because if you don't really understand how
That part.
to read bottles, then you could conceivably get an hemp seed oil and you think you're purchasing CBD. So the seed of the hemp doesn't have CBD. It has rich in omega-3, 6, and 9. It's great for, you know, your smoothies, but it's not going to address the same issues that a product with CBD has. So you want to look at the bottle. You want to make sure that you have a company that you can trust their products. And the reason why that's imperative is because the FDA is not regulating CBD.
Right.
So people who are making CBD in their garage, they're making it in the kitchen, and they're selling products to you, and they're marketing at 15,000 milligrams of CBD. And if you look at the bottle, you're like, oh, this doesn't have CBD in it. It has hemp seed oil. It has olive oil. It has different oils, but there's no CBD. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that you want to make sure that the products that you're using are tested. They have certificates of analysis. They are third-party validated, because when you grow hemp in the soil, it's a bioaccumulator. It will accumulate toxins, heavy metals, fungus, mold. And when you take that CBD, it's going to be consuming those unwanted heavy metals and toxins. A product that has a certificate of analysis that has been tested by a third-party lab that shows that it's free from mold, mildew, heavy metals, toxins, residual solvents. All of those things are bad. You give that product to an immunocompromised person, like an aunt who has cancer or an uncle who has HIV, could potentially be very, very harmful. So you want to make sure you're taking CBD. You want to make sure that the CBD that you're taking is tested. And the Mayo Clinic did a study, a very, very interesting study, where they looked at folks who have chronic long-term pain. And what they found is that those folks really didn't need a lot of CBD. They needed 2.5 to maybe 40 milligrams of CBD. And so, yes, there is a way to dose CBD products. And overall, most folks don't need a lot of CBD to put their body back in balance. And once they get that sweet spot, there's different ways you can dose CBD. You can do microdosing. You can do dosing by your weight. You can do the recommended dose that the company recommends. And you have to find that sweet spot for yourself or your patient where they're going to get that resolution. And again, the Mayo Clinic did studies on glaucoma, chronic pain, schizophrenia, anxiety, depression, and they have the whole chart of most of those conditions don't need a lot of CBD. So more is not better. When you take too much CBD, it makes you feel fatigue. It makes you maybe have a headache. It may make you feel a little nauseated. But when you meet people, they will 9 times out of 10 say CBD doesn't work. And when you do further investigation, you'll find out they were taking hemp seed oil. But the company was marketing it like it was CBD oil. It wasn't even CBD.
Well, you'll find more of those companies that are mismarketing in places of color, and people also, if you dig deep and find those gas stations that are selling it, and those areas that are more frequented by people of color, they're the ones that have the ones that are not managed, and some of these fly-by-night companies are doing that. But if you go to the places and read the packages, that's what we have to be more, is a discerning customer. What Dr. McGuire or Rita is saying is definitely true. I have patients who have had lupus that have sent me messages that they have had much better relief from their pain and their discomfort from that, and their insomnia works. And people who are in professions that have to stay alert, you can't take Darvocet, Dilaudid for your pain and your back pain. CBD seems to be working for them and helps with their insomnia. And a lot of times pain is the reason you have the insomnia. So it's like a vicious circle. If you don't get control of one, the other will follow. So
I have a question.
Love my Giselle.
Go ahead, Dr. Allen.
You do not buy CBD in the gas station. Please don't.
Right.
But say that again, because I think it's so important, because we got this, and Dr. Allen, we're going to get right to you. I think we have the street pharmaceutical people that swear that they're the experts on everything and don't even know how to spell medical book, let alone attend medical school. And we're listening to Ray and Bobo and them without
getting them,
and Pookie and them without getting some great professional help. And I thank you that we have doctors. That's why I love this show, that look like us, who have our experiences and can tell us the truth about matters, especially we're talking about this whole thing about CBD and THC with that. So Dr. Rita, listen, this ain't gonna be the last time, because we got to hear this truth over and over again. Go ahead, Dr. Allen.
Yeah, I'm glad she's on, because I think we talked about this morning too. We have our biases, when it come to medicinal medicine versus allopathic medicine and things like that. And so my biggest concern is like what we talked about earlier. How do we tell people, like you said, how do we know who are our reputable distributors? How do you know?
That's good.
Though I'm not buying it from the gas station, but now I have all these setup stores that's coming down, pop-up shops, and then they're selling the CBD oil, and they sell hemp oil for $20 or $30. How do I know? I mean, that's not a product name, and or who's a reputable distributors? I guess that's where my question comes.
That's good. Yeah. And not that made out of someone's kitchen.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Well, I'm a reputable distributor, and I know this show is for educational purposes only.
But you're fine.
You're fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
No.
Wonderful.
No.
So our product is, or our company is called Wakana, and Wakana has been in business for 2 years. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary, April the 20th. 420 is National Weed Day. Wakana, Wakana. It means young leaves. It means that girl. It means gift of God, and it means harmony. And it's founded by 4 African American women. I'm one of the co-founders. We're the only Black female-owned CBD company in Illinois. And so we are really, our number one vision and mission is to end the negative stigma. And we do that through a lot of education. We have a university. It's called Wakana University, where you can come to our university and get certified to learn about CBD, how to dose, the endocannabinoid system. The new kid on the block is Delta 8. That's the new cannabinoid that's non-psychoactive. And we also have an opportunity for you to use products. I'm the chief medical officer for Wakana. So, everything has to come through me. All of the testing, all of the the products, the labeling, the way that we get our products out to the market in a safe and effective way. So we have certificates of analysis on every single one of our products. None of our products leave our warehouse without being tested, right? So it's tested when
Love that.
the raw material. It's tested again once we enhance our oils with essential oils. It's tested again. So certificates of analysis are crucial during this time of CBD because, again, like we all know, there are a lot of unethical companies out there that are giving you products that don't have CBD in it, but some of those products can be sourced from marijuana, right? Sourced from marijuana can cause you to fail a drug screen and lose your job, or be in a compromised area, condition, or situation where you're high, where you're, not with all faculties. So all of these things are very important that you what is the word? That you align yourself with a reputable company. You align yourself with the company that has the education.
Thank you.
You align yourself with the company that offers certificates of analysis, because that's really, really key.
Thank you. So I put
Rita, can you give your website?
I put the phone number in there. That's what is that right there? Right there?
No, that's not right.
That's not right? Oh, my bad. Take that down.
I don't know where that came from.
I went to your page.
Oh, no, it's drrita.wakana.com.
Okay, sorry about that. My apologies, y'all, for putting the wrong information in there because it said the only Black-owned female business in there.
Yeah, that's probably one of our business partners, so that's okay.
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 But, yeah, those are the 4 co-founders there.
Okay.
drrita.wakana.com. But yeah, this is such an exciting time for us because we want to, again, educate the communities that have really been hit hard on drugs, right?
Yes.
They're the communities that we've got family members that are still serving time, or they have records, and, for us to have that situation. But on the other side, there are people making billions of dollars every day in this industry. And it's a $22 billion industry. So it's something that we can pay attention to as far as creating wealth for our families.
Yeah, I after this show, I'm gonna call you up and say, hey, we want to bring this over to the West Coast so I can be a CPD production.
Is this what we're talking?
No, that's not it. I'll send it.
No, this is this your?
Is that it, Rita?
Oh, I can't see. Yes, that's it.
Okay, gotcha. So there we go, right there.
Giselle, I got to get my glasses.
That's all right. we got you. So we're going to put that banner up for you, and so that people can definitely and I'll be calling you too for my therapy practice.
Right. My other question,
Rita, I'll post it on my Facebook page too.
Yeah, I'll definitely get samples out to all of you. Our products are incredible because our products work.
Right. And my other question to you, do you have on there, you have an e-commerce site where people can purchase your products and things like that, so we'll know? Okay, good. Because there are people who using CBD for anxiety and, even for skin products and skincare, things of that nature. So it'll be a good thing to see. And also to purchase it from a reputable distributor and the concentration of CBD. And so that's a whole different thing. And I like how you talked to us about the difference between CBD and hemp. I'm getting it right, Giselle. Between
marijuana and hemp. So cannabis is the family. Cannabis is the family. Marijuana and hemp are the 2 species.
Gotcha.
And those are 2 species on this. So, and then CBD comes from the stalk of the
marijuana. It can come from marijuana and hemp.
And from hemp, right? Now,
you don't want to mess with the CBD from marijuana because you'll get high. So you want to use the CBD from hemp.
Okay.
Oh, see, that's good.
And they don't tell us that. That's one of the things that people don't tell us. They just automatically say hemp come from the marijuana plant and not necessarily thinking that is, something that doesn't have THC in it. So, and that's good
Right.
to know.
So
Now,
let's just talk about that real quickly. So
okay,
marijuana and hemp are two species of the cannabis plant, right?
correct.
Both have THC and CBD.
Okay,
So CBD can come from marijuana, CBD can come from hemp. THC can come from marijuana, THC can come from hemp. But the difference is the THC that comes from hemp is very, 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 very minute trace level. In fact, the definition of hemp is that it contains 0.3% or less of THC.
correct.
So hemp was legalized by number 45 through the Farm Bill, which now allows hemp to be legally sold, consumed, and cultivated in most states. Now, there's some states that on a federal level, they didn't get the memo. So they're separate states. They are still looking at CBD as marijuana. But on a federal level, 45 passed that now hemp has been descheduled. It was a scheduled one, just like marijuana is a scheduled one. It's no longer a scheduled one drug.
Yeah.
It's legal.
I have another question, and this is from our audience as well. How do you know the difference? Like, say if I become a distributor,
Right.
how do I get marijuana seeds versus hemp seeds to grow? You know, remember, I won't say when I was growing up, you know, you plant some seeds in the yard, you had this big old marijuana tree. So how do I get hemp seeds to grow? Or is there a certain thing? How do we know the difference, and how can we grow the difference?
Good question.
Yeah. So as a distributor, we're not growing anything.
Okay.
But we do have collaborations. Right before this call, I did a call with one of the top Black cultivators and geneticists in the cannabis industry. And that's all he does. He makes strains on the marijuana side, he makes strains on the hemp side. He's a genius. He's been doing this since he was 10 years old. His family has been cultivating hemp and marijuana since he was 10 years old. So we don't do that yet.
Okay.
Our goal is to go from seed to sale. So our goal in the next 10 years is to have farms to source and plant our own products and extract them and process them and take them through the entire
process. Yeah.
We currently, as a company, the 4 co-founders, we have applied for all the licenses in Illinois on the marijuana side. So we envision ourselves to be, they call us the Harriet Tubmans of the industry because we are trailblazers. Not a lot of African-American women are in the industry and really breaking the stigma and really helping. We've helped over 5,000 people or more, I think it's 10,000 now, to somehow be involved in the cannabis industry. We've been working together for 4 years now, going on 5. So it's really an exciting time, but just know we don't do that yet.
Okay.
Daryl,
we can connect you with people if you want to start growing.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Can we put up this comment that Marcia says, because I think that's a really great comment that she has up there. It says CBD from hemp, so key to know. So many of our young people are using this vaping and recreational use, which has the addictive component, the substance abuse. How do you respond to a comment like that?
Yeah, let's talk about this. Thank you. Is it Marcia?
Yes.
Yes. This is really important distinction that we have to make. I think you remember in 2019 when we had so many of those young adults that died from vaping. And what the FDA found when they tested those products, where those products had fentanyl in them, they had poison, they had a lot of opioids,
right,
fillers. But what really killed those young people was a filler that they used. It was vitamin E. Now, vitamin E is pretty benign, but when you inhale vitamin E, it's toxic to the lungs. And so the combination of those vape pens that had vitamin E, the fentanyl, all of the other horrible components is really what killed those young folks. So what we again stress is that when you buy products from around the corner down the street,
right, the corner store,
products that are very harmful, that can have rat poison, that can have all of these offenders that can really cause a lot of damage. So you don't want to buy vape cartridges. You don't want to buy you don't want to buy gummies from any source that has not tested that product, right? And so that's why I'm an advocate for cannabis. Yes, why would an OB-GYN be an advocate for cannabis? Well, in the inner city where I work, 99.9% of our patients, when they come into labor, their urine is positive for THC.
Wow.
I would rather my patient, if they're going to use THC, I would rather my patient get their THC from a source that's tested.
Wow.
Down the street.
A pure assist. Mm-hmm.
And you don't know what's in it. So,
Yeah.
But
I love that.
My question again, though, if you sit up here, you go to the restaurants, you see that the health department, great, and things like that. When you say that they come from a reputable place, how do we know? Is there a sign on the thing that says that this has been tested, approved? We don't know. Is it just by word of mouth, or we're trying to research it? How do we know? How do we know that this is a reputable place?
You ask for their testing.
You ask for their testing, and if they don't know what they're talking about, then you just might as well just say, "Hey, I'm not going to use that product."
Right. I mean, we are transparent. The FDA again is not regulating this industry, so we don't have to spend the thousands of dollars that we spend every single month to test our products. Every batch is tested because it's not required. But we do know that is coming down the line. The FDA is going to regulate the CBD, and you're going to have to show that your products have been tested. But we have integrity. We
love
test
that.
products.
Daryl, can we go back to this other question real quick, because we have someone else ask? Marcia asked one more question. Talk about popcorn lungs you had mentioned. Can you expound upon this a little bit? And is that the metal that you were referring to?
Yeah. So the popcorn lung refers to propaglycanol, which is a component that they find in vape cartridges that causes the popcorn lung. It destroys the lung field, and it is something that is not reversible. So that is a different scenario from the vitamin E.
Okay.
Different chemical that causes the popcorn lung. I think I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah, I think you are. There was a special, I think you can find it on YouTube, that talks about a lot of those vape cartridges are coming from overseas, and some of them are cloned. They're not the actual original generator of the because a lot of companies are making fake ones, and those are where they're coming in with all of these carcinogenic properties, these other things that don't belong in the vape cartridges. And vaping is not that great anyway, but when you're adding all these other additives, it causes severe health consequences. And so I don't know how we got to this point anyway, because it didn't make sense to have steam nicotine flush down your lungs to begin with. So I don't know how we got here. So
those e-cigarettes were just awful.
There's another thing, Rita, I wanted to see if you can touch upon. I read up somewhere they talk about, what is this, full spectrum CBD oil, broad spectrum CBD, and then CBD oil made just using CBD isolates. Yeah. Now, is that something that we should know about, or people
Good question.
What is that? Can you expand on that for me?
Great question. So full spectrum product is a product that contains the major cannabinoids, the CBD, CBC, CBG, CBN, Delta 8 THC, and Delta 9 THC. Those are like the 7 top cannabinoids that make a full spectrum product. So a full spectrum product has the legal limit of THC, which is 0.3% or less. A broad spectrum product It's a product that has those same cannabinoids that I just named, but the THC is defined as less than 0.0%. So it can be 0.0.000000029, right? It has some THC, but the amount is so negligible that a broad spectrum product can be taken by someone who has random drug screens. Then you have an isolate. A CBD isolate is just CBD. It's the only cannabinoid in that product. It is just CBD. There's no CBN, there's no CBC, there's no Delta 8 THC, there's no Delta 9 THC. It's just CBD. So a full spectrum product is absolutely going to be more comprehensive and give better results than an isolate. Because an isolate doesn't have all of the other cannabinoids that synergize to give you results. So full spectrum product is the best overall product that's going to really give you results. A broad spectrum product is going to give you results, but if you have restrictions at your job or your random drug screens, you have to go with the broad spectrum product. And then an isolate. Now, an isolate is really best in the new kid on the block, which is Delta 8. We just launched our Delta 8 products. And that's a great isolate because Delta 8 is a very close cousin to Delta 9. So it's going to give you that sort of feeling of increased and heightened creativity. It's going to help you be more calm and relaxed without the high. So if you can imagine Delta 9 THC, that's the part of the plant that gets you high, but a nice mellow cousin called Delta 8.
Mellow cousin.
Yeah, it's a new kid on the block.
I love that.
The millennials are loving the Delta 8 because so many millennials, we call that generation stress. And they really, really are getting relief without having taken Xanax and Prozac. And
that is so true. I have some therapist friends on here that are asking about various products. And Cassandra, I'm going to have you definitely reach out. We'll get the number to Dr. Rita McGuire out there because I definitely think that those of us in the therapy field, we're looking for alternatives. And I know that Cassandra Rose has an amazing practice out here in Southern California in the Riverside Inland Empire area. And definitely good. I really want to do a part 2 with this because I think we're just scratching the surface with that, because I would love to even have you show your products. I think
your products.
And show that.
I'm sorry,
Most definitely.
I will do that next time. But
No,
I want to tell the last person what was
she said that she wants to know what some of the diagnosis.
Yeah. So Giselle and Gwen and company.
Yes.
We have a Wakana Medical Advisory Board. I have a board of 20 healthcare professionals.
Can you bring some mental health professionals in there as well too?
Yes.
We need. I want to be on somebody's board. Yes. Cassandra will be on the board. We want to do this in mental health too.
On our board because I'm taking my board to the next level. The next level is that we're going to start doing some clinical trials on our product. And so I partnered with Dr. Elijah Jackson out of Texas. And we're going to start doing trials with cannabinoids on different things.
Well, I'm in on that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested in that. So
Okay. So
how, answer me this, Rita, is rheumatoid arthritis or and lupus, cannabinoids are good for those painful situations?
Yes. Okay. So we have topicals to offer local relief. We have tinctures, we have edibles, we have spices, we have topical lotions, pain creams, we have cartridges, we have pre-rolls, we have CBD joints. We have a whole shampoo line because alopecia, oh my God.
Yes.
Even COVID hair. I've got 5 friends that lost their hair when they
it's the stress.
Yes.
And so we have for the hair, Oh, we have amazing products. Yeah.
I would love to, Rita, when we conclude that we can all just get back on the conversation. We can bring your products to the West Coast.
Yes.
We can also expand, help you expand the
To
business
Louisiana too.
and then that way we can educate the communities of color.
Yes.
Because again, what we see in the communities of color, we don't necessarily see CBD. We see these marijuana dispensaries, marijuana shops where people just go and buy weed all over the place. But again, like I said, when I started the show, I don't really see any medical benefits of them smoking weed. But now talking to you on the show, I can actually see the benefits of CBD and hemp oil, because that's not what's out here in the inner city community. Because you have folks just smoking weed to smoke weed because
and eating brownies and cookies.
Eating brownies and cookies because they're saying it's legal. But you're bringing in the medical perspective to it that which a lot of us don't really hear about or know about. And even as a professional standpoint, we don't really talk about that much because we just hear people about getting high. And when someone is high and they're in this euphoria, you can't see the medical benefit of that, as opposed to saying you're just smoking to get high because it's legal. You said,
well, some of them are using the edibles not to get high. They're using it for the same reason that people are using the CBD. Some people are using it for seizure disorders. Some people are using it for anxiety and stress. Some people are using it for insomnia. Now, they start with the edibles in small quantities and they become resistant to that, and they have to go to higher levels. So I can't say that some people are just doing it to get high. Some people are starting it because of their underlying condition and why they do it. And it gives them that high, but that high makes them metal. We get some of the same side effects from some of these edibles that you get from Xanax. And I don't think Xanax works very good at all for what it's designed for. And it's very addictive. So.
But like we talked about,
what
we talked about in the beginning, I said it's more or less a thing that when you use the Xanax, there is I'm not against any type of products, but we have the pros is that you have a set amount. That's why I like what Rita telling us that there's a difference in between full spectrum and all that kind of stuff, because with other people just taking medicine, taking brownies, eating brownies, doing things without saying that this dose of CBD is what I need for X, Y, and Z. And I think that's where the lines get mushed, because there is no set standard. And we need some people like Rita and her team to come on and tell people that, use this lotion 3 times a day. It has this much concentration. You need to have full spectrum in order to know what's going on. So again, Rita, I appreciate you for coming on and educating.
Yes.
We're going to have to bring you back, but I know we're out of time. But Marty, that's your thing.
Listen, we are so glad to have you. Now, Dr. Allen, we were talking about, since we missed last Wednesday, to come back on next Wednesday.
Yeah, we missed last Wednesday.
Well, because we could not, and I don't know if Dr. Rita, if you're available next Wednesday, Dr. Allen, because I think while it's hot, we can continue part 2 of this conversation, and we would love and show your products, and then get with Daryl and I, because we can post them up. We'll get on the website so people can see it, and definitely do that, and show that. And do some other things. Listen, now, if y'all want Dr. Rita McGuire to come back next week, I need to see some hearts and tell her bring her back. I need it in the comments section, and I need y'all to guarantee y'all gonna be back next week and bring 5 friends with you as well.
Yeah, I want her back. Because I think
I definitely do. Yeah.
And I think Rita, and with the products and just educating us, I think, as physicians, that we need to know a little bit more about it. And so we can actually prescribe it right now.
I have patients texting me about clinical trials. They're ready.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so great. I'm so excited. Well, I am looking forward to seeing all of you next Wednesday.
All right. We'll be there.
It's so good seeing you, Giselle and Gwen.
Good to see you, Rita.
Pleasure.
Off to the side, we got to talk about our next cruise or whatever.
Listen, I'm on the next one. So before you leave, definitely, the people are definitely at more. They're definitely wanting more. So we're going to definitely we'll be back next week, y'all. Listen, people are talking about they want to be a part of the clinical trials. Even my mama talking about, yes, mama. Listen, my mama got every ailment under the sun: fibromyalgia, gout, diabetes, high blood pressure. Mama,
Now
don't
you're
hit me.
telling too much of your mama business. Stop it.
Right.
Listen, I need some help out here. But listen,
Help
before
is
you
on the way.
help us on before you leave again, Dr. Rita McGuire, tell us how we can get a hold of you. And thank you. I'm so honored. I'm blown away. Listen, we're gonna do this and make it help your business grow, because we have to support Black owned businesses and that are doing the right thing. So Dr. Rita McGuire, thank you. How can we get a hold of you?
My email is ritamd@wakana.com. That's my email. My website is drrita.wakana.com. So that email is
Wonderful.
ritamd@wakana.com. And you can email me anytime. And then that's the website for the products.
Wonderful.
I will be back next Wednesday.
Love it. Love it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Dr. McKinney, as always, talk to us and how we can get a hold of you.
I am Dr. Giselle McKinney. I'm in Lake Charles, Louisiana. You can email me at gmckinney@lcmh.com. We're happy to see you. You can call the office, Lake Charles Memorial Hospital.com. You can go on there and you can find our office there as well. We look forward to seeing and hearing from all of you guys.
Yes, Dr. Allen, as always. And Dr. Allen, I already put your information because someone said, I'm in LA and how do I get a hold of one of these wonderful doctors? So expect Nicole Toombs to give you a call, because she says, I'm coming your way. So Dr. Allen.
Come my way, Nicole. I'm here in Los Angeles and Gardena, California. I'm here 24/7, 365. My website is Gardena Women's Center. You can look us up there and we're here to serve you.
Awesome. So again, we want to thank you guys. This has been absolutely amazing. Yes, Gardena Winter said yes. See, everyone's in here. We love these. Listen, we love these amazing doctors, y'all. This show gets better and better and better and better. Listen, we need somebody call Oprah, Tyler Perry, somebody.
On the line.
If not, we will take donations and start our own show, because I'm not bad about that either. So listen, as always, we want to thank you for joining us for another wonderful edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty and House Calls featuring Dr. Allen. Please check out our website at mentalhealthmarty.com, where you will find your mental health merchandise to help you along this journey. And please check out our podcast, Mental Health Matters with Marty. And if you are an Apple listener, please give us a 5-star rating and leave us a review. But become an iMatter member of Mental Health Matters with Marty by texting iMatter to 855-717-1272. As we close with each and every session, we are so grateful that you have decided to join us, because there are so many podcasts and vlogs you could have chosen. But we don't want you to continue to suffer in silence in the shadow of shame. But we have to stop the stinking thinking that surrounds mental health and physical wellness. We are here to change that thought. But as I always say each week, we have to speak up. We got to speak out in order that we might live. And as always, remember to enjoy your life. See you next Wednesday. Take care.